we will be discussing about the pro rata allotment. The pro rata allotment is a method that is used to allocate shares among the applicants when the demand for the shares exceeds the number of the shares available during a share issue. This ensures a fair and the proportional distribution of the shares to all the applicants based on their subscription amounts. Here is a detailed exploration of pro rata allotment. So basically, pro rata is a method to allocate the shares among their applicants when the demand for the shares exceeds the number of the shares available. Oversubscription case. When the shares are oversubscribed, then we use the pro rata allotment. Understanding the pro rata allotment. The term pro rata means in proportion. In the context of the share allotment, it refers to the distribution of the shares in proportion to the number of the shares applied for by each applicant. Okay, pro rata means in proportion. In the context of share allotment, it refers to the distribution of the shares in proportion to the number of shares applied. When the pro rata allotment is used, the pro rata allotment is used in the case of oversubscription. The pro rata allotment is typically used when a share issue is oversubscribed, meaning the total number of the shares applied for exceeds the number of the shares available for the issuance. जब जो टोटल नंबर ऑफ द शेयर्स अप्लाइड हैं वो ज्यादा हो जाते हैं टू दी अवेलेबल शेयर्स, दैट प्रोसेस या दैट सिनेरियो इज नोन एज द ओवर सब्सक्रिप्शन. नाउ द स्टेप्स इन द pro rata allotment. Now what are the various steps available in the pro rata allotment? Determination the oversubscription ratio. So first of all, we will determine the oversubscription ratio. Calculate the total demand. Sum up the total demand of the shares applied for by all the participants. Next is determine the oversubscription ratio. The ratio is found by dividing the total number of the shares applied for by the total number of the shares available for the allotment. So basically, the oversubscription ratio is calculated by total shares applied for divided by the total shares available. Let us just do practical determination of the oversubscription ratio. How to determine the oversubscription ratio? For that, we will insert an equation first. The structure of this. Okay. Over subscription ratio equals total shares applied for divided by total shares available. Okay. Then, how do we do the pro rata allotment? We have to know calculation of the pro rata allocation. Allocation per applicant. Determine the number of the shares each applicant will receive based on the oversubscription. This is done by dividing the number of shares applied for the each applicant by the oversubscription ratio. So next step is the calculation of pro rata allocation. How it is done? It is the pro rata allocation. Shares applied for by the applicant divided by the over subscription ratio divided by subscription ratio. Okay. Rounding. Typically, the fractional shares are not allotted. So if there is a fraction or a decimal, that will not be allotted. Rounding is applied to determine the final number of shares allotted to the each applicant. Then you go for rounding. Then the third is you allocate the shares. Final allotment. Allocate the shares to the each applicant based on the pro rata calculation and the rounding adjustments. And refund the excess application money. If there is any excess application money, then you shall refund it. Refund the money for the shares that could not be allotted due to the over subscription. So हमने तीन चीजें करनी है. सबसे पहले we need to determine the over subscription ratio from this formula. After that, we need to calculate the pro rata allocation from this formula. And after that, you need to do the rounding. And then final allotment is to be done. And any excess money which is there, then you can refund it. Okay. Now let us just shift into the example for the pro rata allotment. Okay. Let us just consider a scenario. And that scenario is where the total shares available for allotment is equals to 10,000. Total shares applied for is equal to 20,000. Okay. Number of applicants 4. The applicant A applied for 8,000 shares. Applicant B C and then D. So applicant B applicant C and then applicant D. So applicant A applied for 8,000, applicant B applied for 6,000 shares, applicant C applied for 4,000 shares, and applicant D applied for 2. Okay. So total number of shares applied are 20,000 in this proportion. Then we'll do the step-by-step calculation. So first of all, let us go with the calculation. सबसे पहला, what we'll do, calculate the over subscription ratio. We'll calculate the over subscription ratio. How? From this formula. Using this formula. Total number of shares applied for. What are the total number of shares applied for? 20,000. Because they applied for how many? 20,000. मगर कितने ले सकते हैं? What is the total shares available? That is 10,000. That means 20,000 divided by 10,000, which is equal to 2. Hence, the oversubscription ratio is 2. Okay. Next, calculate the pro rata allocation. Now, we'll calculate the pro rata allocation. It is for each applicant. Applicant A के लिए बात करते हैं. Pro rata allocation formula is this. Okay, so for the case of the applicant A, shares available for by the applicant. What are the shares available by the applicant? 8,000. This is okay. And what is the oversubscription ratio? That is 2. Hence 4,000 shares. Okay. Now same for all the other applicants. It is 6,000 by 2. That is 3,000 shares. It is 4,000 by 2. That is 2,000 shares. And it is 2,000 by 2. That is 1,432. This is how we will allot the shares on the pro rata basis. That means we will now, third step will be allotment of shares. We have to allocate the shares. In this case, the applicant B, A, C, and D will get the money. Applicant B, applicant C, and applicant D. Same goes for applicant C. And then applicant D. In the third step, we will allocate the shares. How many? 4,000 to A, 3,000 to B, 2,000 to C, and 1,000 to. Last step, we will refund all the excess application. Okay. Refund all the application. Excess application. That is, we applied for 8,000 shares. But how many are allotted to him? 4,000 shares. Okay. So refund will be 4,000. Similarly, he applied for 6,000 shares, but he was allotted only 3,000 shares. So 3,000 shares fund, and he applied for 4,000. C applied for 4,000 shares and he only got 2,000 shares. That means the remaining 2,000 shares refunded, any amount refunded. He applied for 2,000 shares, but on the pro rata basis, he got given 1,000 shares. That means 1,000 shares will be refunded. Okay, so this is how the pro rata allotment will be done. Okay, now let us talk about the accounting treatment for the pro rata. या फिर मैं बोलूँ basic journal entries in the pro rata allotment. So first of all is the bank account debit to share application as is the first entry. After that, second, we will do the allotment. Share application count debit to share capital count. If there is premium, it will be to securities premium count if premium available. And if there is discount, then also discount or issue of shares count debit. If discount available. Sorted. ये हम पढ़ते हुए आए हैं कि अगर डिस्काउंट होगा तो डेबिट होगा, सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम होगा तो क्रेडिट होगा. Then we will refund the excess money at application. Share application account. This is the contra entry to that. Share application account. Debit to that. Now we are returning the excess amount of the money which we received. So based on these three journal entries, the entire pro rata allotment will be done. Okay. Now let us just talk about the advantages of pro rata. Pro rata is good because it does the fair distribution. It ensures a fair and the proportional distribution of the shares among all the applicants. Then is the transparency. It enhances the transparency in the allotment process, maintaining the investors' confidence. And third, the efficient handling of the oversubscription. It provides a systematic method to handle the oversubscription without any favoritism. Now, let us conclude the topic that pro rata allotment is the methodical and equitable approach to distribute the shares among the applicants during an oversubscribed share issue. By following the clear calculation process, the companies ensure the fairness and the transparency in the share allocation, maintaining the investor confidence and the regulatory compliance. Proper accounting for the pro rata allotment is crucial for the accurate financial reporting and maintaining the integrity of the capital raising process. So in this video, we learned about what is pro rata, how the pro rata works, and what is the benefit of the oversubscription. Thank you so much. I hope you have understood the topic.